Some days, your mind is not your friend. It talks too much. It doubts too often. It remembers the wrong things and forgets what matters. You try to push forward, stay focused, stay strong, but your inner voice keeps pulling you back. What if that voice could change? What if it became a source of clarity, not confusion? A reminder of strength, not fear? The Stoics believe that how we speak to ourselves is how we shape our lives, that every thought is a thread, and every day we're weaving something, a mindset, a direction, a future. You don't have to wait for peace to find you. You can build it from within, one sentence at a time, one truth spoken to yourself before the world speaks over you. In this video, we'll explore 10 things you can tell yourself every day, 10 thoughts to anchor your mindset, 10 reminders to help you rise, reset, and return to who you truly are. Because the way you begin your day shapes everything that comes after. And the person you become starts with the words you choose when no one else is listening. I am capable, 3 simple words. But sometimes they feel miles away from what we believe. When we fail, when we doubt, when we feel behind while the rest of the world seems to move forward with ease. It's easy to forget, easy to shrink, easy to question whether we're enough. But capability is not loud. It doesn't need to shout. It shows up in quiet persistence, in the fact that you got out of bed this morning, that you're still here, still trying, even when no one sees it. Capability isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to keep asking better questions, to stay in the room with your life when things get uncomfortable, to keep moving, not because it's easy, but because you've chosen not to quit. The Stoics never asked us to be perfect. They only asked us to be responsible, to act with intention, to do what we can, where we are, with what we have. That is what capability means. And when you remind yourself of that each day, you stop waiting to feel ready. You simply begin. And sometimes, the beginning is the most powerful thing you can do. I shape my reality, not by controlling everything, but by choosing how I see it. The world doesn't always change, but the way I experience it can. That shift begins in the mind, in the lens I choose to look through. Maybe I can't rewrite the story around me, but I can rewrite the one I tell myself. I can replace panic with pause. I can replace judgment with understanding. I can choose meaning even when I don't choose the circumstances. The Stoics taught that it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. That means reality isn't just what happens, it's how I relate to what happens. And that's where my power lives. I am not helpless. I'm not at the mercy of the noise around me. I can return to stillness. I can choose again. And every time I do, I reshape my life. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Because the story I tell myself becomes the story I live. And today, I choose to tell it differently. My path is clear, not because everything is certain, but because I know what I value. The world may change, plans may fall apart, but when I stay anchored in what matters, I always know where to take the next step. Clarity is not about having all the answers. It is about knowing what you are not willing to compromise. It is about returning to your core when everything around you feels uncertain. Distractions will come, expectations will pull, but I do not have to follow every noise. I can return to stillness. I can listen to what is true for me, and from that quiet place, I can move with intention. I grow stronger daily. Not always in ways the world can see. Sometimes it is the strength to stay silent, Sometimes it is the strength to speak up. Sometimes it is simply the strength to begin again. Growth is not always loud. It often looks like patience, like choosing not to react, like walking away from what no longer serves you. These moments may seem small, but they are proof that something inside you is shifting. Strength is not about having power over others. It is about having a steady relationship with yourself. And every time you choose integrity over impulse, calm over chaos, growth over comfort, you build a strength that cannot be taken away. I commit to excellence, not for perfection, not for praise, but because excellence is an act of respect for the work I do, for the people I serve, for the person I am becoming. Excellence is not about doing everything. It is about doing what matters with care. It is showing up fully even when no one is watching. It is bringing presence to the task in front of me, not to impress, but to honor the moment. The Stoics believed that virtue was the highest form of excellence, that discipline, honesty, courage, and wisdom were not outcomes, but choices made daily. So I choose to give my best not because I have to, but because it reflects who I am when I am aligned. Excuses do not define me. They may explain where I've been, but they do not decide where I go next. I can acknowledge my limits without letting them become a ceiling. I can name my fear without giving it the final word. There will always be reasons to wait, to hold back, to stay small. But none of them are more powerful than the moment I choose to begin again. The Stoics believed in ownership. They taught that while we cannot control everything, we are responsible for how we respond. So today, I choose responsibility over blame, action over avoidance, growth over comfort. I may not move fast, but I will move forward, because I am not what holds me back. I am the one to keep going. I am designed for greatness, not for perfection, not for constant achievement, but for meaning, for depth, for courage in the face of fear, and clarity in the middle of noise. Greatness does not always look like success. Sometimes it looks like resilience, like kindness, when anger is easier, like patience, when rushing feels more familiar. The Stoics believe that true greatness is measured not by what we gain, but by what we become. I do not need to be extraordinary by anyone else's standards. I only need to become the truest version of myself, strong in virtue, rooted in purpose, clear in who I am, even when the world is not. External opinions do not sway me. They may speak loudly, but I no longer live according to their volume. What others think of me is not who I am. It is only a reflection of their lens, their fears, and their stories, not my truth. The Stoics taught that the only opinion that truly matters is the one you hold of yourself when no one is watching. That is where character is formed. That is where peace begins, not in being praised, but in being aligned. Validation may feel good, but it fades. Integrity lasts. So I return to my values. I return to what I know is right. I let the world have its noise, but I keep my center. I embrace the present moment, because this is where life is happening. Not in the past can I change. Not in the future can I predict. Right here, right now, this breath, this step, this choice. The mind loves to wander. It pulls me into what was or what might be. But the Stoics remind me that peace is only possible in the now. The present moment is not a stepping stone. It is the destination. When I return to now, I return to myself. I feel my breath. I feel the ground. I remember that I am alive, that I am enough, that this moment is the only place where strength can grow and love can begin. I control my emotions, not by pretending they do not exist, but by understanding they are not in charge. My feelings are valid, but they are not always wise. They can rise like waves, but I am the ocean beneath them. The Stoics taught that emotions are signals, not commands. I can feel anger without becoming it. I can notice fear without obeying it. I can hold sadness without drowning in it. Self-mastery is not suppression. It is awareness. It is the ability to pause, to choose a response instead of reacting blindly. That is where my power lives, not in avoiding emotions, but in holding them with clarity and compassion. You don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need perfect thoughts or unshakable confidence. What you need is a gentle reminder, a pause, a return. Because the way you speak to yourself becomes the way you move through the world. These 10 phrases are not magic. They are not instant solutions. They are small anchors, quiet truths, gentle companions for heavy days. Say them out loud. Whisper them when things get hard. Repeat them until they feel real. Let them remind you of the strength you've always carried, even if you sometimes forget it. And if this message awakens something inside you, stay close. Subscribe to Stoic Vault for more reminders of who you are and who you're becoming. Not to add more noise, but to return to what matters most. This journey is not about changing everything. It's about remembering the part of you that was never broken. Sometimes, one sentence is all it takes to begin again.